Paige and Bryson recently got together to do a speed session to see how fast Paige could swing. Let's take a look at where she derives her speed and power from, but then also where she might be able to improve and find a little bit more distance in her swing. And a lot of these things translate really well to all the amateurs out there in terms of finding speed and power leaks in your swing. So let's see where she can improve and where she does well. I really love when people that aren't necessarily used to speed training get together with someone like Bryson to learn more about speed training. One, because they see how fun it is. It is so fun to see the improvement. But two, it really shows a lot of your swing, where you're good and then also where you can improve. And a lot of times the moves and positions that give you better speed also increase ball striking. So your accuracy and your speed seem to get better at the same time, because what hurts speed also hurts accuracy and vice versa. So let's take a look. The first thing that I love in this move here is you saw that right knee bend. She's getting into her legs already and she hasn't even taken her club back yet. So she knows that if she wants to swing faster, she has to use the ground. She has to get her legs involved. So she loads onto the back side there with the right knee bend, initiating the takeaway. And from here, she also knows that she needs width in her swing to produce speed. Wide to narrow is the preferred route in the driver swing. You want a wide takeaway. Maintain that width all the way to the top. Her right arm and left arm are relatively straight. I think the good golfer in her is keeping that right elbow tucked, which again helps accuracy. But if she can increase that width a little bit more, she's going to get a little bit more leverage on that club and a little bit more speed. But you can also see her right leg straightened. So she's now almost raised her center of mass up in terms of her midsection and her hips, and then used that to transfer energy into her left leg, which is now bent. So her legs, she uses her legs really well in her swing. You notice her left heel, she doesn't lift off the ground. A lot of long drivers, even golfers, lift that left heel off the ground. It can help provide a little bit more power and speed, but at the sacrifice of some timing possibly. So she prefers to keep her heels on the ground, as do I in my golf swing when playing on the course. And I don't think it's costing her a ton, if much at all, any speed. So she's using her legs really well. Now let's get to the top here. Now as she gets to the top, again, she starts loading down into the ground using her legs for power. This is an incredibly athletic move right here. Her shoulders are past 90 degrees turned. She's fully into her front side, her lead leg. She is generating a ton of torque here. She's got a ton of knee bend getting into the ground. She has a ton of potential right here for huge speed numbers. The athleticism and flexibility here, the hip and shoulder separation, her hips are almost faced right down to the target. Her shoulders past 90 degrees still at the top, shaft parallel. Really, really impressive move here. This gives her a ton of potential for speed. In the downswing here, we will see where she's losing a lot of that potential because of some of the moves and positions she sees between here and impact. So from here, I would love to see her head stay in this position / come back towards the camera slightly. If we think of the club like a whip, if you're going to crack a whip, you're going to move your hand forward, and then before that whip cracks, you're going to pull your hand back. Well, her upper body is like the hand of the whip. It has to move back into impact for that club head to sling forward. If her head goes towards the golf ball or towards the target, it would be like trying to crack a whip and you continue your hand towards the tip of the whip. It doesn't provide that whip effect. So watch into the downswing. Her head goes down, which is fine, that's using the ground, but it goes towards the golf ball and towards the target. So again, at this position, I would love to see her head further back here, moving away from the target and away from the golf ball. That's going to increase the length of her levers and again, create that whip action at the golf ball and not lose energy. I do see a lot of amateurs that do this, and they do it to try to help control the golf ball. It's not needed to hit the ball straight if you do everything else correctly. Your head prefers, if you can watch the Bryson video that I posted earlier, your head stays still and moves away from the target slightly, and your positioning keeps that club face straight. you'll see here her head has moved towards the golf ball, and even after impact, it moves towards falling over the golf ball, and she finishes towards the target with her right leg and foot moving towards the target. That's a byproduct of her upper body moving towards the target and towards the golf ball into impact. Again, if you watch the long drivers, their left foot flares backward, their right foot doesn't go forwards. Now let's watch the swing in fast motion real quick, and you'll see how the first half all the way to the top looks really good, and then down into the ball, she gets her upper body going in the wrong direction. And if she makes this fix, that's an easy 3 to 5 miles an hour of club head speed, which is 10 to 15 yards instantly.